Good morning, buenos dias. First of all, thank you all for joining me here today alongside my colleagues on both sides of the aisle in order to introduce what will be historic legislation. Today, we celebrate the 11th anniversary of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program, DACA, during this Immigrant Heritage Month. This is Immigrant Heritage Month. Numerous cases have debated this issue, and the future of Dreamers is still in limbo. Congress must act now to make the future of those who have called America home the law of the land. In this country, we have over 580,000 DACA recipients. These are children, commonly called Dreamers, who were brought to the United States through no fault of their own and are now eligible for work authorization for temporary periods. This temporary status provides no guarantee or pathway towards citizenship. My home state of Texas is home to 17% of these Dreamers, second only to California. If DACA ends, Texas would lose 5,000 workers a week for 2 years. That doesn't grow an economy. It hurts an economy. And the positions that would be lost are in critical positions like healthcare and teaching. 72% of Americans favor a law providing permanent legal status to Dreamers. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, all of them, Americans agree that Dreamers deserve legal status. America supports Dreamers, and Dreamers support America. This is not a partisan issue. No matter your party, it is clear that our citizenship process is broken. And who suffers the most? The children. Children suffer through separation from their families, being held longer than needed in some centers, and quite frankly, having to deal with an immigration process that is not only inequitable and unfair, but sometimes inhumane. That's why I'm calling on Democrats and Republicans alike today to make change swiftly and unity and forever. We need a path forward now for Dreamers, DED, and TPS. Dreamers pay taxes, build and own small businesses, and work hard to grow our economy. Yet they remain in limbo. This bipartisan American Dream and Promise Act is about giving Dreamers, TPS, and DED holders an opportunity to achieve the American dream. This pathway is simple, legal, and safe. For years, they've been denied their rights, had their applications blocked, and have been deported from this country. Those who are law-abiding citizens and able to pass extensive background checks will be granted citizenship. No one deserves to live in legal limbo while their future is at stake. So I want to thank all my colleagues who are joining me here today from both sides of the aisle, standing with me to take action and action now. We cannot wait to have any court decision tell us anything different. This is the right thing to do, and America believes in doing the right thing. And I want to especially thank Diana Playago and Jessica Giron, who both are representing the face of Dreamers and TPS holders everywhere who will speak today. So thank you all for being here today, and I would like to begin with having my friend, my colleague from New York, a state that has many, many Dreamers, to make a few remarks, Leader Jeffries.
Good morning. Let me first thank Representative Sylvia Garcia for her incredible leadership on so many issues, including in connection with that of Dreamers and TPS, DED recipients, in advancing in such an incredible way the American Dream and Promise Act in a bipartisan way, and in pulling together an incredible array of leaders to stand with her, most importantly, to stand with dreamers in this moment. Leaders including the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Nanette Barragan, the chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, a leader on immigration issues, Pramila Jayapal, the chair of CAPAC, Judy Chu, and a bipartisan group of members of Congress committed to this issue. Because this is not simply a Democratic issue or Republican issue, it shouldn't be viewed as a partisan issue. Standing with dreamers, standing with TPS recipients, standing with those who deserve a pathway towards citizenship is an American issue, period, full stop. Because America is a nation of immigrants. We are a gorgeous mosaic of people who come to this country from all throughout the world. Out of many, we are one. Those principles are embedded in the DNA of this country. And at this moment in time, no one more embodies those principles than dreamers throughout America. These dreamers are hardworking, entrepreneurial, patriotic, connected to their community, family-oriented, and have already given much to this country, and already are integral parts of their community. They stood with us in different ways, including serving in our military. We should stand with them. And that is what the American Dream and Promise Act is all about. And I can tell you that as House Democrats, we are completely committed to working with our colleagues on the other side of the aisle, working with our colleagues on the other side of the Capitol to speak up and show up and stand up until the American Dream and Promise Act is the law of the land. It is now my great honor and privilege to introduce another good friend of mine, a champion on this issue, the distinguished gentlelady from the great state of New York, who we affectionately refer to at home as La Luchadora, the great Nydia Velasquez.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Very honored to have the leader of the Democrats from New York. Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
And thank you all for being here. Don't you ever forget this. Immigrants make America, America. And so this is the moment to do right by Americans and by the dreamers, TPS holders, DD. This is the moment. And what is important about this legislation is that it's bipartisan. And the American people constantly have spoken on this issue. Strong support from the American public. Farmers, developers, the construction industry, time and time again, every time that I hold a hearing, well, used to hold hearings, now I'm the ranking member in the Small Business Committee, the number one complaint was the lack of skilled workers. And if there is anything that really embodies the spirit of immigrants coming to this land, is their entrepreneurial spirit, their dreams and aspiration to make it here. They come here to work. So we're here today because for too long, too many dreamers, TPS and DED recipients have been forced to live in limbo regarding their status in this country. These people are our coworkers, friends, family members, and hardworking, law-abiding members of our communities. They are the coaches in the little leagues. It is long past time we provide peace of mind to millions who are American in every way but on paper by providing a pathway to citizenship. That is exactly what the Dream and Promise Act will do. I would like to thank Congresswoman Garcia, Congresswoman Clark, and all my colleagues with us here for their work to get this reintroduced. I look forward to working with everyone to get this passed, and I believe she's not here. Is that correct? Well, it is my great honor to introduce. Who? Well, it was supposed to be Yvette Clark, but yeah. Congresswoman Judy Chu, another fighter.
I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, the 28th Congressional District of California, and chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. I want to thank Leader Jeffries and Representative Garcia for hosting today's press conference. We are here to celebrate the reintroduction of the American Dream and Promise Act of 2023, a critical bill that would finally provide a path to citizenship for over 2 million DACA, TPS, and DED status holders. Amongst them are dreamers that could be helped, like Teresa Lee. She was actually the very first dreamer that inspired Senator Dick Durbin to sponsor the DREAM Act legislation. She was brought to the U.S. from Korea when she was just 2 years old, but she was a child prodigy at the piano. In high school, she went to file her application to the Music Conservatory, but she found out she was undocumented. Well, against the odds, today Teresa is pursuing her doctorate in musical arts at the Manhattan School of Music, and she has performed at the Chicago Symphony, Lincoln Center, and Carnegie Hall. Teresa's story shows just how much potential our DACA, TPS, and DED status holders have to contribute to America. On this 11th anniversary of DACA, let's work together to finally get the American Dream and Promise Act of 2023 across the finish line. Thank you, and now I have the honor of introducing my fellow member of Congress from California, Lou Correa.
Congressman Lou Correa, Orange County, California, and I'm very proud to say that my district is home to the largest number of dreamers in the United States. And Leader Jeffries put it very clearly, which is, this is an American issue. Not an immigrant issue, but an American issue. Dreamers are in every part of our society. And today, I'm here to honor and remember the memory of Jose Angel Garibay, a dreamer in my district who made the ultimate sacrifice for this country in the first Iraq War. He was the first casualty from Orange County, California, in Iraq. This is what dreamers are about. We can do better. Let's pass this legislation and do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Delia, you're next.
I'm supposed to introduce my good friend from Illinois, Delia Ramirez.
Buenos dias. As you heard from my colleague, my name is Delia Catalina Ramirez, and I proudly am the daughter of immigrants. As I was waiting to come up, I got a message from my husband. For those of you that don't know, I am the only member of Congress married to a dreamer. For me, today, this moment, as a new member of Congress, is extremely personal. He said to me, I'm hoping things will be different this time. I love you. Thank you for not giving up on the issue. Thank you for not giving up on us. I am proud today to stand here as a co-lead of the reintroduction of the Dreams and Promise Act. Today, this daughter of immigrants, this person who grew up in a little neighborhood in Chicago, gets to stand with leaders on both sides of the aisle, saying this time is it. We are taking the first step in the right direction to give dreamers and immigrants in America, many who are not children anymore, many of them who are 37, 38, and have lived here their entire life, the opportunity and pathway to citizenship that reflects our values as a nation and as a multicultural democracy of diversity and inclusion. A first step in reuniting families and keeping them together. A first step in giving immigrants and dreamers the opportunity of the American dream they have fought for so long. We are moving the needle to real comprehensive immigration reform that embraces our values as a nation. Esto solo es el principio. Seguiremos luchando por esta legislación y toda otra acción necesaria para garantizar el bienestar de todas nuestras comunidades inmigrantes. With today's introduction, we are planting the seeds of a more just future for all of us. Thank you for the honor of my life to be part of this moment. Now, I get the honor to pass the microphone to a friend, a mentor, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Ramirez. And to my friend, Sylvia Garcia, thank you for your tremendous leadership on this. To colleagues on both sides of the aisle, thank you for being here and for continuing the fight to pass the American Dream and Promise Act. I stand before you as the ranking member on the Immigration Subcommittee, but also as an immigrant myself. I came to the United States when I was 16 years old by myself. And now, having worked for 20 years on immigration issues before coming to Congress, starting one of the largest immigrant advocacy organizations in the country, I feel tremendous hope. Hope that both colleagues on the Republican and Democratic side are stepping up to say that we stand with every dreamer, every DED holder, every TPS recipient, to say you have a place in the United States of America. You are doing incredible work for us on the front lines of our healthcare system, as veterans, as my friend Lou Correa said. In every field that we need in America, you are making this country work. And you are reminding us every time you're in the streets saying undocumented and unafraid, despite the fact that you are facing potential family separation, potential detention, limbo about your life and your future, that you are there reminding us about what the core of the American dream is. A dream that brings people from all over the world, brings many of us here because we know that this is a place where opportunity is given to those who work hard, who are here to serve the United States of America. So I want to say to every dreamer, every DED holder, every TPS holder that's out there, we are with you and we will ensure that this gets done. And now it's my great honor to introduce another colleague from the West Coast, from the state of Oregon, Representative Lori Chavez de Remer.
Good morning. As the first Latina Republican to represent Oregon in Congress, I'm glad to be here today with Congresswoman Garcia in support of the Bipartisan Dream and Promise Act. This is a historic solution that would provide overdue protections for dreamers in the United States, protections that more than 70% of Americans support. There are around 28,000 dreamers in my home state of Oregon. Nearly 3 out of 4 of them have been in the U.S. since they were at least 13 years old. And almost all of them have been here for well over 10 years. During that time, they have made significant contributions to our society and our economy. In fact, a majority of them are working in the industries that are currently struggling to fill job openings. But this is also about compassion and providing dreamers with certainty and fairness. If they meet certain common sense requirements, such as having a clean criminal record and are working, pursuing higher education, or serving in the military, individuals who are brought to the U.S. as young children should be allowed to stay here. Here, they are at home. In the past, and now it's time for Congress to act. And that's why I'm proud to support this Dream and Promise Act. Thank you. is my honor to work with my colleagues in getting this done, and I'm very proud to have the support of my fellow congressman, Congresswoman Maria Salazar. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. Thanks to all of you and to Sylvia for including us, and delighted that, as the other congresspeople have said, this is a bipartisan effort. We have Lori, a proud Republican. We have Congressman Duarte, and this is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is an American issue. I represent the city of Miami. 75% of the people that I represent are Hispanics. Most of them are Cubans, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Hondurans. There are 5,000 dreamers and their parents and their families, and those who are not dreamers, like the other congresspeople were saying, TPS, people that are simply with any type of legality, undocumented. And that's why I'm here, as a proud Republican, to say to the country and to all of you that this is an American issue, and my party is going to be present in trying to find a solution for the dreamers and for their parents and for everybody else that is in that situation. That's why I have proudly introduced, along with other members of Congress on both sides, the Dignity Act, which includes in its totality the DREAM Act and the Promise Act, because this is a very broad issue. We recognize that these kids and their parents want to live in dignity, and they want to be part of this promised land called the United States. So it's time for us as legislators to step up and to say to them, welcome. Like Lori said, if you don't have a criminal record and you've been here for years and you've been contributing with the economy and you studied and you did not get in trouble and you're really part of the fabric of the United States, we love you, we welcome you, and we want you to stay. What's happening right now for the last 37 years is inconceivable, that this country, both parties, have not been able to find a solution to give some type of recognition, dignity to this group of people, millions and millions and millions of them that live in the shadows. And that's why, and they know that this is my topic, because I think it's inconceivable, once again, that good people cannot stand up and say proudly, I'm here and I'm contributing and I want to be part of the promised land. So I'm delighted to be able to join your bill, to be able to join my other members of Congress on the Democratic side, on the Republican side, and to inform the news media that I belong to, that industry for many years, to say that it's time to send the message to the political class, to us, the legislators, on both sides, to every elected official, that it's time to look for solutions. Give dignity to those people who live in the shadows, including the dreamers, who are the most innocent victims of this situation. That we have to do our job and solve the problem. May the Lord help us do it. And thank you. Thank you for inviting us. And now I think Congressman Duarte.
Thank you, Congresswoman Salazar. Thank you, Congresswoman Garcia, for including me on this. Thank you, Congresswoman Chavez-DeRemer, for including me on this. This is coming. This is bipartisan. It's right, it's strong, and it's time. So I will tell my colleagues, maybe more on my side of the aisle, get ready.
Yeah.
Get your head around it. Get your heart into it. We can do this for rhetorical reasons. We can do it because it's right. If you have to, do it because it's good for America. We need these young people out of the shadows. These young people can go, and not so young anymore, right? 37? I mean, I know some of them. I work in the Valley. I work in agriculture. I grew up working a quarter mile from the Mexican border on Otay Mesa, working in greenhouse operations with my family next to a lot of these people. Getting a full membership of the American dream, full access to the American dream, is good for America. It's what my grandparents, my great-grandparents enjoyed when they came across. It's what the next generations of American immigrants deserve. And those who came across by their parents' decisions, of no decision of their own, and happened not to get the card punch properly before they got here as a kid, that went to school alongside my kids in high school and through our community, and now live in the shadows without full access to the American dream, call it amnesty. Call it what you want. But all I ask, you come to my district, come to my nursery, look my people in the eye, and tell them they shouldn't have access to the American dream. And then I'll listen to the rest of the rhetoric. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Zoe Lofgren.
No,
I'm,
Zoe's not here.
Okay.
Jennifer's not here, Congresswoman, the dreamer.
Nanette Bargan? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's you.
I'm helping too much. Come over here. Thank you.
Well, good morning, buenos dias. I'm Nanette Barragan, Chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. I want to be here today to thank my colleague, Sylvia Garcia, and all of my colleagues here in this effort to pass this bill. As my colleagues have said, it's time. What I love about this is the bipartisan nature. And what we've heard today is the case on why the time is now and why we need to get this done. And thank my colleague Sylvia Garcia for picking up the baton. This was something that Representative Lucille Roybal Allard had championed in her time here in Congress for a long time. So thank you for picking up that baton and make sure we're doing everything we can to honor her legacy in this and to get this across the finish line. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus stands ready to work with anybody and everybody to making sure that we can get this done now. The time is now. Thank you very much.
And now we'll hear from Deanna Plago.
Well, thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. And thank you to my fellow speakers for being here to support the American Dream and Promise Act. My name is Diana Pliego, and I'm a federal advocacy strategist at the National Immigration Law Center. I'm also a DACA recipient. My organization represents over 1 million DACA-eligible youth in a court case in New York. And we've been fighting alongside immigrant youth for decades to ensure our futures here in the U.S. The Dream and Promise Act would provide a pathway to citizenship for millions of people like us who are members of our communities across the country but whose futures here remain uncertain. For 11 years now, DACA has transformed our lives, improved our economy, and strengthened our communities. DACA allowed me to continue my education, start a career, and live, at least temporarily, free from the fear of being sent to a country that I don't know. It has allowed me to stay where I call home, and it has allowed me to give back to my community and to my country. But getting DACA didn't just help me. It had ripple effects. 2 of my brothers also became DACA recipients, and that allowed us to improve our lives. It brought my entire family out of poverty. There's so much good that I have because of DACA, and today I celebrate that. But I also have to be honest. Today I celebrate, but I'm also tired. I'm tired because it has been 11 years and we are still fighting to keep our ability to work and stay in the country that we call home. Yet again, DACA faces an uncertain future in the hands of our federal courts. And so many immigrant young people are currently still unable to get even DACA and pursue the same opportunities it afforded me because of the politicized attacks on the policy. The reality is that DACA has never been enough. It was meant to provide temporary relief to some while Congress came together to pass a permanent solution, one that puts me and all immigrant youth on a pathway to citizenship in the country we call home. That's why this bill is so necessary. So I'm calling on Congress to act now before it's too late. Immigrants like me need the stability that comes from a pathway to citizenship so that we can continue to plan for our futures, continue to give back to our communities, and truly live free from fear. This is what Dream and Promise Act would do for people like me. Across the political spectrum, the American people support a pathway to citizenship because all of us, no matter where we were born, where we live and work together in neighborhoods and communities across the country. We're talking about a bipartisan bill that has rare consensus support across party lines. This is an opportunity for members of Congress to deliver on a promise that will benefit all of us. Congress must remember that our lives, our freedom, and our futures are on the line. We urge you to do what your constituents are asking for. Pass permanent protections and a pathway to citizenship for all immigrant youth, not just DACA recipients. Today we have an opportunity to build a future that is brighter for all of us, collectively. I urge my fellow speakers and members of Congress to work with your colleagues to pass the Dream and Promise Act now. Hundreds of thousands of immigrant youth are counting on you. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Congresswoman Yvette Clarke.
Greetings, everyone, and buenos dias. It's my honor and my privilege to be here to thank my colleague, Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, for her leadership. My name is Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke, and as a daughter of immigrants, the issue that has brought us together today is one that is close and dear to my heart. It has been 11 years since we first gave temporary legal protection to people who were brought to this country as children. And on the anniversary of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, we have 600,000 people waiting in limbo as a federal judge considers the future of this program. A program, by the way, that helped many of them go to college and grad school, to buy homes, and to start businesses. We're talking about healthcare workers providing critical patient care, educators teaching our children, folks in the food supply chain as food travels from farms to dinner tables. We're talking about people already in their 30s and 40s making major economic and fiscal contributions to our nation each and every year. Their contributions as the economy recovers are real, but a pathway to citizenship would boost these to new heights, especially as the United States track its course for economic recovery. To deliver for dreamers is to deliver for America. I am so proud to stand with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to reintroduce the American Dream and Promise Act, because the greatness of the American Dream is the belief that any single person can come to this land of opportunity that allows the possibility of upward mobility, freedom, and equality for people of all races, classes, religions who work hard and have the will to succeed. It's time for real solutions that will invest in America's immigration system and in our nation's growth and development. And it remains a bastion of opportunity for all of us. And I'm proud to stand with my colleagues, by my colleagues' sides, demanding that we do just that. My parents came to the United States in the 1950s as foreign students. My district has many people from around the world. It's an immigrant portal. I have many dreamers that are living in my constituency in this very moment who are seeking the opportunity to do a pathway to citizenship. We have worked hard and long on immigration in this Congress. We have not met the goal yet, but we are not giving up. We are by no means going to relent. We will not stop until we reach that dream and that promise for each and every one who has been seeking this and comprehensive immigration reform at the end of the day. So thank you so much, Sylvia. It's my honor, my privilege to be here with you all today. Let's keep the pressure on. Let's go out and get this win.
Thank you, Congresswoman. And next, we'll have Jessica Hedron, who will talk about TPS.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Giron. I am the TPS beneficiary from Honduras. I am an executive committee member of the National TPS Alliance, a grassroots organization advocating for extension, redesignation, and permanent residency for TPS families. It's an honor to be here today in support of the Dream and Promise Act. My story as a TPS holder began in 1998 when I arrived in New Jersey to reunite with my mother. The United States has been my home for 23 years. This is where I built a business, start my family, and have accomplished so much of what I could not have if I would have stayed in Honduras. I'm also a mother of 2 U.S. citizen children. The United States is their home. I am homeowner, and I have my small accounting business through which I provide employer to other people in New Jersey. Additionally, I have grown to become a leader in my community, volunteering and advocating for families in various needs. I am one of the 400,000 TPS beneficiaries in the United States, and my children are the faces of 360,000 children born in the United States to TPS holder parents. The TPS cleans the halls of Congress here in Washington, D.C., works in meat processing in Nebraska, transport basis needs across the state lines, run hospitals in New York, change our sheets in the hotel in Las Vegas, pick the fruit and vegetable we consume in Florida, clean the classroom at Harvard University, build our homes as carpenters and construction workers, cook our food at expensive restaurants in California and all over the country, and so much more. In 2018, our nightmare began. This was the time when the previous administration announced termination of TPS for many countries, including Honduras. This brought great anguish for my family and thousands of TPS families across the country. We felt betrayed. To me, the United States was a country that had welcomed me, embraced me, but this action made me feel unwanted. And my dreams were paused. Our future were unclear. Instead of planning for college, graduation, other milestones, and the future of our children, we had to think about the possibility of returning to countries that are not prepared to receive us. We had to prepare for the possibility of leaving our children behind and continuing another generation of family separation. Our lives are not temporary. Our home is here, but we are resilient. While these actions were intended to attack us, it brought us strength. Our love for our families makes us brave. This extreme action led us to organize and knock the door of Congress, which is why I'm standing here today. This week, President Biden announced extension for TPS countries that have been terminated during the last administration. Although this news is some relief for so many TPS families, the true relief we need is permanent residency. The Dream and Promise Act looks to bring this relief that our families need. I stand here today to ask everybody, to every single legislator, to support us through this bill. This bill means a path to permanency, means hope, means the opportunity to keep our families together. We firmly believe that it is time to put an end to the uncertainty and tension that our families have experienced in the last 5 years since the cancellation of TPS and extensions. It is time for permanent residency. We, the TPS recipients, have given and continue to give our best years to the United States, and it's time to our work and dedication be recognized. One thing is clear. We are committed to work ahead for us, and we will keep raising our voices as community. We will observe both sides of the aisle, and we ask that Congress keep forward for permanent residence for TPS holders and dreamers. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. We were hopeful that we could have some time for questions. I would urge the press to please submit your questions to us in writing later or try to catch up with me later. Votes have been called. That's what you're seeing all the members leave, so I'll have to leave shortly too. Where's Bryce? This is my comms director. Please get any questions to her that you might have. But the message is clear. The time to act is now. Someone said, and I think it was Martin Luther King, that it's always the right time to do the right thing. This is the right time. This is the right moment. And we're going to keep working hard and not stop until we get it done. So muchísimas gracias.